Welcome to my video about 10 things you should not say or ask an autist, or at least think twice about in order to not come across as uneducated or rude. Though not every autist might not worth their feelings as I will in this video, the things I will talk about are pretty general. Though I cannot speak for all autists, of course, I think these are considerations everyone should take into account when communicating with an autist. I do realize that most of the things I will mention do not have bad intentions, but I assume you want to make your autistic friend or relative as comfortable as possible and do not want to add to any existing anxiety or stress by making the autist feel more awkward than necessary. I have taken the liberty of selecting 10 of the most common things said to an autist that can really put us off balance or in some case even trigger us. I have added my thoughts and feelings to each as well. And of course, though these are my thoughts and feelings, these are mine alone and in no way representative for other autists by default. Though I think I can safely say that many will share the sentiment in one way or the other. Now, without further ado, let's start the countdown. Number 10. How are you? Though this is not a bad thing to ask anyone, of course. But whenever I get this question from someone else than my parents, I wonder, do you really want to know? And if you do, are you up for a 30-minute rant where I will give you the full, sometimes emotional story that what has happened in the last year or so? And if I already know you are not meaning it due to the fact that the situation we are in, such as a casual meeting on the street, or a meeting in public transport, then, well, you get a I am okay back at best. Number 9. Small talk. Small talk in general is something that can be very hard to autistic people. I do not talk if it serves no purpose, and I am not interested to hear what your cousin did on vacation. And if you do tell me, please don't distract me with unnecessary details, as if it really matters whether the cousin is from your father's or your mother's side. I'll pretend to listen out of courtesy. I'll mask the fact that I would actually want to shout, "Shut the F up with your yabbing and get to the point, please." Or I'll stop myself from getting up and doing something else just out of courtesy, but you're not doing me any favor by engaging with me in small talk. Number 8. You don't look different. How does someone with autism look like? Are there any physical differences that are representative for autism? No, none. Assuming that everyone who is autistic would sit drooling in a chair, rocking his or her body back and forth, or that we all have some sort of uncontrollable stim and tic and need to flap our hands, shows how little you know and is simply insulting. I'm autistic, not a drooling vegetable. Number 7. I am sorry you have autism. That is like saying to a black man, sorry that your skin is so dark. I know you don't mean it like that, but it is discriminative and insulting. Autism is a genetic variation in humanity, as is the color of your skin or the color of your eyes, and does not need pity or a cure. The fact that the world is uncomfortable with autistic people because they do not fit in the view of what is considered normal and therefore prefers to shun and isolate us rather than to be open and inclusive, that is what you need to feel sorry for. And I am not saying that society needs to adapt just for us. But just as we want equal rights and treatment for people of different color, religion and sexuality, so do those who are born with genetically differences such as autism. It is a problem in society that those who behave outside of the norm or look outside of the norm but harm nobody, are being treated different, stared at, discriminated and threatened, cause it makes others feel uncomfortable. Whether that is an autist flapping his or her hands in public who gets stared at, or the LGBT couple coming to live next door you don't like. Don't feel sorry. Start treating us like any other. And just as you don't stare at someone with a different skin color, you shouldn't stare at our autism outings. Number 6. You are high functioning, so it's not so hard. The term high functioning only relates to my communicative skills. It says nothing about my intelligence, the amount or severity of my issues, or how hard it is for me to deal with them. Assuming that high functioning is in any way lighter, different, or not properly autistic in regards to low functioning autists is insulting. Just as you can and should not assume the intelligence and capacities of a low-functioning autist just because he or she is not able to communicate in the ways we do. Number 5. What is your special ability? Yes, autists can have special interests or develop special talents for things. And there are things I noticed I have a natural feel for. One of those is the ability to put my thoughts into words. However, we are not all good in math or music or arts. And the special interests of many artists shift several times over their developments over the years. If we want you to know the things we feel particularly confident in or have a talent for, then we will let you know. We are not a curiosity, nor do we look forward being labeled the person that does this or that really well, and give demonstrations at parties and be your little monkey that does tricks. Assuming we are all some sort of Rain Man shows how little you know about autism, and asking about it is rude and insulting. I'm not going to ask the man I'm interested in on the street whether he is well endowed or not either. Not to mention that if we would start talking about our special talents or interests, you would end up bored 10 minutes into a 2-hour talk, if not longer. Number 4. Oh, I have that problem as well. The fact that you might have experienced anxiety in a situation, which might be relatable to how I experience something, does not mean you have the faintest idea of how it is to be an autist. I understand that this is a way for you to try and show show empathy with us, but you have not and will never experience it in a way an autist does. And of course, you can have sensory issues and anxieties, but to compare it to my autism is dismissive, minimizing and insulting. And the same goes for saying things as I or a person I know is a little bit autistic sometimes. No, you are not a little bit autistic. You either are or are not. It's saying someone is a little bit pregnant. It just does not make sense, and again feels minimizing and insulting to the problems I deal with on a day-to-day basis. Number 3. Women cannot be autistic. This obviously does not apply to me as I am not a woman. However, this is a big problem. It is a struggle for a lot of women and deserves a place on this list. Men and women are genetically different, and so are the ways our autism manifests. Autism was first discovered and later researched in males, and from that research the framework for diagnosis was made. As females live under different conditions and are labeled with different social stigmas and expectations, they rarely tagged the needed boxes when going through a diagnosed procedure that was solely based upon male psychology and social situations. This has led to many females being misdiagnosed, receiving unneeded wrong medications, and succumbed to the wrong therapies. Females can be just as autistic as males, and the struggles they have to go through to get diagnosed is often way harder than for a male. I will dedicate a complete video to this topic at a later time, but feel I need to do more research into it in order to give a complete picture. Number 2. It will all get better and be okay. No, it will not. My autism will never get better. There is no cure, nor do I desire one. Just as there is no cure for having a dark skin, as mentioned earlier. I might learn to cope better with my autism, but it will never get better. It will only get better when the society you created will stop demonizing people who are and or act different than what fits in your standards of being normal. It will only get better when people start treating each other equally regardless of their skin, their clothes, their religion, behavior, sexual preference or disabilities. It will only get better when people stop caring about what the other does in their personal life as long as it does not break the law. It will only get better when speaking up and addressing the awkward topics becomes accepted and welcomed rather than seen as difficult and rebellious. And I can go on and on like that for a while. My point is that it is society we live in, the way things are structured and social expectations placed upon us all, which makes us prefer to shun it. And just as people of different ethnicities or sexual backgrounds wish to be included, accepted and treated equal, so do we. And things can change. For years I was told to shake hands, and it took a pandemic to change the need for that. But all joking aside, just as we collectively decided to address equal treatment amongst races with Black Lives Matter, I see no reason why we cannot collectively decide to start accepting different social behavior from people with autism. Don't dismiss us because we tend to observe and stay quiet, because we speak uneasy truth, or can become overly passionate. Autists as well as others such as those with Down syndrome. We want to be included, we care a lot about what we do, our surroundings, and we have a lot of love to share and give. And all it takes is for you to be a bit more open, inclusive and respectful towards our needs and differences. We already try to look past and include race, religion and sexual preference in society. Let's add mental and physical handicaps to that as well. Number 1. You don't behave autistic. So how should I behave? Because when I did behave autistic, I got a slap on my wrist, was told to act normal, to grow up. And when I act my autistic self, you get offended. You feel awkward and prefer not to be with me at all. You feel ashamed. So tell me, how should I behave then? The fact you never noticed me being autistic is because I am good enough to suppress and mask my natural impulses to fool your short-sighted perception of people. Autistic people work damn hard to meet your social standards under the weight of sensory overload, so you and your kind won't laugh at us, call us names and disrespect us for what we are. And now I don't behave autistic enough in order to fit your narrow frame of mind. Get lost, please. And with that cheerful note, I wish to conclude this video. Please subscribe, like and hit that bell-like notification button. Do share it amongst your friends and other autists who you might feel could use this video as a way to explain their feelings about certain topics discussed. I hope to see you again soon. thank you all we have almost reached the 750 subscribers. And see you all in the next video. Thank you again. Bye bye.